You know that feeling when you pick up a new app and it just clicks, and then there are others that make you want to throw your phone across the room? Well, the difference between the two isn't magic, it's science. Today on The Explainer, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden theories of human-computer interaction that make our tech either a joy or a total nightmare to use.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're wrestling with some confusing website, trying to find a simple piece of information. You tap, you click, you swipe, and nothing works the way you think it should. It is just so frustrating.
But here's the thing. That frustration, it's probably not your fault. More often than not, it's a failure of design. It means the person who built that piece of tech just didn't really get the person who'd be using it, which is you.
So let's dive into that. There's an entire field of study dedicated to fixing this exact problem. It's called human-computer interaction, or HCI for short.
You can think of HCI as the bridge between human psychology and computer science. Its whole goal is to make technology feel intuitive, almost invisible, by really understanding how we think, how we act, and how we connect with the world around us.
Okay, so to get started, we're going to look inside our own heads. Because one of the first ways designers tried to understand us was by thinking of our brains as computers.
These are called cognitive theories, and they're all about modeling the human brain as this kind of information processor. The idea is to map out all the little mental steps we take, from the moment we see something on a screen to when we finally decide what to do next.
And one of the foundational ideas here is something called the information processing model. It's a really powerful, even if simple, analogy that breaks down our thinking into a series of logical steps.
So, think about it this way. Information comes in through your senses, like you see a button on a screen. That's the input. Your brain then processes what that button means. That's encoding. It stores that info in your memory, and then, when you need it, you retrieve it to take action. It's kind of like how a computer saves and opens a file.
Now, based on all our past experiences with tech, we all build these little personal theories about how a new app or a new website is supposed to work. This is called your mental model. It's your internal instruction manual for how you think something should function.
And this is where everything can go wrong. If the designer's idea of how the app works doesn't line up with your mental model of how it should work, well, that's when you get that frustrating experience of just clicking around randomly, hoping to figure it out.
But of course, we don't use tech in a bubble, do we? We're surrounded by other people, and that social context completely changes the game.
This is where social theories come in. They zoom out from our individual brains to look at the bigger picture, how our communities, our friends, and our culture shape the technology we use. I mean, be honest, you probably learned how to use your favorite social media app because a friend showed you, not because you read the manual, right? That's social theory in action.
And this gets to a really critical point. Technology isn't just something that's handed to us from on high. Theories like the social shaping of technology show that it's our collective choices that decide which gadgets succeed and which ones fail. And actor network theory takes it even a step further, seeing this whole web of people, software, and hardware all influencing each other. Just think about how a viral meme can completely change how an app is used. It's a perfect example. We're not just users, we're literally co-creating our digital world.
Okay, so we've talked about what's going on in our heads and in our social circles. Now let's zoom all the way into the most direct part of the experience, what we see with our eyes and what we do with our hands. So, our brains are actually hardwired to find patterns, to create order out of visual chaos. This is all based on a set of ideas called the Gestalt principles, and you can think of them as the hidden grammar of good design. And smart designers use these rules all the time. It's why all the navigation buttons on a website are clumped together, or why every link you can click on is the same color. Your brain just gets it instantly, without you even having to think about it.
All right, next up, we've got a concept with a kind of academic-sounding name, but the idea itself is so simple and so powerful. It's called affordances, and it's all about how an object's appearance just screams at you how it's meant to be used.
It's one of those things that's totally obvious once you hear it. A really well-designed button just looks clickable. It affords pushing. You just know what to do. Great design gives you these clues for free, and that's what makes it feel intuitive.
And finally, let's get down to the simple physical act of pointing and clicking. It seems so basic, but it's actually governed by a surprisingly precise mathematical rule, one that explains a ton about good and bad design.
It's called Fitts' law, and all it really says is this: closer targets and bigger targets are way faster and easier to hit. It's a fundamental law of how we move.
And this explains so much.
It's why that huge Add to Cart button is so easy to press, but that tiny little X to close a pop-up ad feels almost impossible to hit. It's not an accident. Designers who get Fit's Law make their apps and websites feel faster, smoother, and just plain less annoying. Okay, so we've gone through the cognitive, the social, and the physical. When you put all these theories together, what's the big takeaway? What does it all really mean?
It means that truly great technology feels like an extension of ourselves. It isn't about making us smarter. It's about making technology that is more human. When it works, it gets our mental models, it fits into our social lives, and it respects the basic ways our bodies work. It just feels effortless.
So the next time you're using an app you absolutely love, take a second and think about why. Is it the clean layout? The button that's perfectly placed for your thumb? The way it connects you to your friends? Now you have the tools to see the brilliant, thoughtful design that's been hiding in plain sight all along.